My guest, Andrea Jones, was arrested in the parking lot of the Morristown, Tennessee Department of Motor Vehicle Driver's License Office after removing her shirt, going topless, in protest because the agency would not allow her to put her gender on her license plate. She is a transgender woman, and the DMV didn't seem to want to get that. Joining me now, Andrea Jones. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me on.
Prior to going to the DMV, you had legally changed your gender with the Social Security office. So according to the federal government, you were female, correct? You are female.
Correct.
And did you have any problems at that office with changing your gender?
It was actually rather simple with them. It just a brief conversation, and we were able to get things arranged.
When you're going through that process with these government offices, what kind of documentation do you have to provide to different offices to change your gender officially on these documents?
Well, one thing that most, like what the DMV wants specifically is either a court order to have it changed, or another thing that they'll allow is a signed doctor's note. But there's one thing that there's a category of transsexuals that a lot of people do not think about that are like the non-transsexuals. Those people never go through surgery, but they still identify as the gender opposite of their birthday.
And the Social Security office did not ask you for a doctor's note or proof of any surgery or anything. As you said, they just accepted, it was a conversation, they accepted you were female.
Yes.
So, I'm sorry, go on.
I hope I'm not getting anybody in trouble with this statement like that.
Oh, you mean because the Social Security office did it so easily? Well, obviously, they were not requiring from you what the DMV was requiring, and they denied you from changing your gender. Was this a humiliating experience as well?
Well, actually, the humiliation came a couple weeks before whenever I tried before, and it was just after the death of a family member, and I kind of lost it then. That was whenever I first attempted to make my first statement, which it went unnoticed. I told people, talked about it, but no one did. And then after that, I was also having some battles with work about matters.
Right, and so you obviously had a lot of issues you were dealing with, and this only added to it.
Right.
So on October 22nd, you were arrested after removing your top outside the driver's license office. Why did you decide to protest in that way? Why did you decide to do that?
People have been trying to write in for years and ask for the laws to be changed. And they keep telling us about the rights that we don't have and everything. But they forget to mention that because of the way that they leave the laws, with us being in the state that we are, there are some laws, such as me being able to remove my shirt with it being technically legal. The whole point of that was to show how the law is a bit messed up right now, and people need to take a look at these laws and try to work on fixing them.
Because when you remove your top, you have breasts, and to them, you are a female who is engaging in indecent exposure. If you were a man, it's perfectly okay to remove your top. It's not for women. So for the purpose of the arrest, for the purpose of indecent exposure, you're a female.
That was why I went into the DMV directly beforehand and had them go ahead and confirm and restate that before I took a step outside to do that.
And had you notified media or anybody else when you went outside and did this?
No, I was actually hoping that it would be my intention was actually just to go in there, get it changed, and go on about my life. But with the things that had happened before, this time I planned out a bit further that if that did not happen, it was time I made a statement.
So you planned to remove your shirt. What was the reaction? You were in the parking lot. Who was there? What happened?
The parking lot didn't have a whole lot of people in it at the time. Most of the people were inside sitting. There were a few cars parked. I remember whenever I was outside, somebody yelling at me, "Don't look at that thing." I can't remember exactly what all people were yelling. I know that I heard several people making comments against me, but I just tried to stay true to my intent and make a statement that would get people's attention and have them actually taking a look at the laws again.
Now, you were arrested then by the police. How many police came? What did they say when they arrested you?
I remember specifically a couple officers. One officer was the first one who approached me. I handed them my license and showed them how the DMV and the state classified me, and because of that, what I was doing was perfectly legal. And they asked me to put my shirt on. I was a bit agitated at the time. I tossed my shirt down and told them no. It was after that one of the workers from the DMV came out and they started taking pictures and to document it, they told me. So I was posing for a couple pics for them, and next thing I know, I'm having a cuff placed on my left wrist. Exactly what follows beyond that, I don't really remember too well. I remember the cuff hitting me. I remember getting pepper sprayed at one point in time, and then
pepper sprayed for an indecent exposure arrest, and that's not even indecent because they're claiming you are male. Now, you then spent, and this is just shocking, 23 days.
No, it was 21 days.
21 days in jail, in the men's jail, without a trial.
Yeah, and what's really interesting about that is if I had pled guilty, the maximum time that I would have had to serve would have been 10 days if I had pled guilty. But someone who is stating clearly that they are not guilty of the charges before them has to wait until they either bail out or their court date comes. And I know a lot of people don't. For me, that giving up $137 to bail myself out, that was a big thing, because I'm just your average person out there trying to work and make a living, and that makes a difference to me. That $137.
Did you have any support, friends, activists, legal advisors, anybody?
Well, I kind of was behind the eight ball a bit, because whenever I went in, my phone was mostly dead. I couldn't contact a lot of people, and I couldn't get in touch with everybody that I intended to. And once you're in, they don't come up to you every day and say, "Hey, do you want to use the phone?" Except for the except for the ones they had, which charges like about $15-20 a call.
Wow.
And a lot of people can't afford to be paying $15-20 every time somebody calls them.
So you were in that jail, the men's jail, for 21 days. The whole purpose of them arresting you was for indecent exposure, which assumed you were a woman, and yet they put you in the men's jail. It's as if there's no reason why you should have been in jail at all.
Exactly.
What happened while you were in that jail? What was that like?
It was actually rather stressful. The main stress that I actually dealt with for the most part, I say, was the constant hunger that I dealt with in there. Providing somebody with basic nourishment is one of the simplest things.
They didn't
but without
feed
that,
you?
it makes it hard. Huh?
They didn't feed you?
Oh, they fed what was considered to be what the state required them to feed. But I lost, in that short period of time, those 21 days, I lost 15 pounds and ended up blacking out at the end of it, on the 21st day, which is the reason why I got out at that point in time to make another phone call. There was another time beyond whenever I first got in that they offered me a phone call, but it was after I had just been told that my next court date was December 20th. After everybody told me if I just kept my mouth shut when I went up there, that I'd be getting out.
Wow.
And so I tried to behave, and that's a whole other story.
Since you have been out, have you had support? Are you thinking of filing a lawsuit? Can they pursue this charge any further? Because it's ridiculous.
They were trying to remove the charge from the record, but I'm actually not letting them do that right now because if I don't have the charge to begin with, I don't have a way to defend myself against it.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple other secondary charges on with this as a result of my arrest. And whenever I was talking to my lawyers at one point in time, they were telling me that the charge wasn't there and that I couldn't use the basic defense and that I planned on using because they were trying to take the charge away. But I'm not letting them, so this is actually going to give me a chance to state how can the state conceivably expect someone to behave as both male and female at the same time.
Right.
It's ludicrous.
Yeah, it's absolutely ludicrous, and it just shows what so many transgender people have to go through all across this country. Morristown, a pretty small city, 24,000 people, a pretty conservative place, must be hard sometimes to be there.
Well, I actually lived just a short ways over from there. I don't live directly in Morristown. That was just where I went to get my license, try to get my license fixed because where I live in an even smaller town, they didn't have a DMV that was set up to do that.
Wow. Well, I want to thank you for coming on and speaking with our audience today, and we'll certainly be following your story. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, and I just hope that, I really hope that this brings about change. That's what I hope so much because there's so much that's needed right now.
I hope so too. You did something very important and very brave. Thank you.